What's up, guys? Today another video from Arc Draken. Today I'm going to be doing another Syndicate weapon. Today I'm going to be doing the Synoid Gammacor, which is one of my personal favorites. Now, a long time ago, they had this thing buffed so much, it was the best weapon in the entire game, I would have to say. Better than most of the primaries. Now, they did nerf it a while back, but it still holds true to one of the greater weapons when it comes to secondary weapons, especially for Corpus. Now, in a base damage, now you're going to see negatives right here, but without anything on there, you can barely see it. You're hitting at about 28 magnetic damage already. So this is a basic magnetic damage weapon just from the get-go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and work off that. Just because it's already magnetic, I'm going to go ahead and throw on some more magnetic type elements like cold and electricity, just so we can get the best version of what the Synoid Gammacor could possibly be. And if you take a look, I also have Hornet Strike and Magnum Force that aren't even fully leveled up all the way. That is a big indicator that this weapon is still pretty great, even without fully maxed mods on there. So obviously Hornet Strike for that damage, Barrel Diffusion for multi-shot, Lethal Torrent for fire rate and multi-shot. Now, the ammunition with the Lethal Torrent does go a little bit faster, but you're still hitting those enemies so hard that it really doesn't matter. You're going to kill them fairly quickly as long as you're not messing around and trying to spray and pray with the Synoid Gammacor, which this weapon is not meant for spray and pray type action. Now, obviously, Magnum Force for more damage and negative accuracy, it's not really going to affect the Synoid Gammacor at all. But we are going to go ahead and have this entire bottom row as elemental and status chance, very similar to the Vague-Core Marilock. Now, since the weapon comes with magnetic damage already, I'm going to add on more magnetic damage to this weapon just to give it as much strength as I possibly can when it comes to elemental and status chance. Now, the status chance isn't as high as the Vague-Core Marilock, but this weapon does a whopping amazing percent of damage, especially to even up to 135 leveled enemies. So we're going to throw in Convulsion for electricity, Jolt for more electricity, and that status chance to get us up from 20% to 70.4, along with Deep Freeze and Frostbite. So let's go ahead and take a look to see how strong it is. And as always, I love to bring in low key just so I can go invisible, so I don't have a third-person player like Loki, Rhino, whoever in the way of what I'm actually doing with the weapons. So I'm bringing in an elite crewman at a level 135. Now I know an elite crewman is a little bit weaker when it comes to other Corpus enemies, and as you can see, I still have a long way to go when it comes to other types of enemies that I can bring in here. If you guys want, I'll bring in a Moa Eximus, just one, both of them at level 135. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate this, go invisible. I'm going to knock these two guys out faster than you can say, wham bam, thank you ma'am. And yeah, that might have been a little cheesy. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and go invisible right now. I know the elite crewman will run up. And as you can see, I used not even a full clip to kill that one, the elite crewman, and now I have the Guardian Eximus, and even that one down in just seconds. Now I'm at 79, which, yeah, it did shoot a little bit fast, but that's 79 bullets, or laser beams, I guess, to be more precise, that are out of the full range of 150. Now, it seems like a lot, and it might be just because, you know, some people don't like that fire rate to be as fast for the Synoid Gammacor, and the fire rate does two things. One, it shoots faster, obviously, to where your ammunition is going to run out a little bit quicker. Now, what fire rate also does, it means that it's shooting faster in the Synoid Gammacor beam, which means those enemies are going to die a little bit quicker, which means you're going to have to be a little bit more accurate when it comes to aiming. And as you can see, it does have a little bit of a lag when you're going from side to side, so when you're aiming for someone, make sure you get them down your sights and just hold it down. Now, as you can see, when I'm holding down the shooting button, I mean, it kind of like varies from the little area, but that is not a big deal when it comes to accuracy. I mean, as long as your target is right next to you or even decently far, you're still gonna hit right on the nose for the most part. It doesn't vary variate very much, so it's not a big deal. This is a Syndicate weapon, and what I do love about the Synoid Gammacor as opposed to the regular Gammacor is obviously that proc damage. So even if you come in contact with enemies that are greater than 135 already, which in my opinion is pretty difficult to beat anyways when you're fighting specific enemies. Now obviously this was Corpus modded for the Synoid Gammacor against Corpus enemies, so it's primarily meant for those types of enemies. You're more than welcome to throw in something else, like, let's see if I can't find a Grineer just to test one out. But for the most part, this is going to do a whopping amount of damage, especially elemental, and that beam does just crazy amounts of damage. Let's throw down a heavy gunner, just one, level 135, and we'll give it a second because this guy's going to come up running at me anyways for the most part. They always do. We go invisible, I don't want to die on this. Now as you can see, I mean, it's not doing very much damage, so you really need these weapons to be modded out elementally for the specific enemy. So since this weapon is meant for Grineer, I would suggest any type of Grineer mission that you end up doing, you end up bringing this weapon. So if you're doing a Sortie 3 and it's a Grineer day, you're not really going to want to pull out the Synoid Gammacor. What you're probably going to want to do is bring out the Vacor Marilek or any other type of weapon that can do the type of elemental damage to a specific enemy. Now, for Corpus Day on a Sortie 3 or any type of mission that deals with Corpus enemies, the Synoid Gammacor is one of my favorites to bring. Not only does it do the specific elemental damage to a specific enemy, but even when you look at the stats, you're like, well, you know, 965 for elemental and 70% on status chance, that weapon doesn't look very good. But as you can see, we're all wrong. The fire rate is 24, which means this thing is shooting fairly quickly, and your accuracy is only 25.8, which you think would be a big issue when it comes to the Synoid Gammacor, and obviously that's a wrong assumption as well. So if you have the Platinum or you're in that Syndicate, I believe it's Cephalon Suda, and you want to go ahead and find a really good secondary weapon for Corpus, I would highly suggest the Synoid Gammacor, one of my favorites for that. And as always, hit that like and subscribe button. Don't forget to check out some other videos that I have going on, especially my Ash Prime God mode. That guy is awesome. And as always, you guys have a good one and stay groovy.